Good morning, children. In my last video, number 4th, I discussed with you the structure and types of white blood cells. Today, I'll be taking functions of leukocytes. This will be my 5th video on circulatory system. Now, to protect the body against diseases and the entry of pathogens, that is how the leukocytes protect our body from different diseases and from the entry of the foreign bodies. So their main concept of function is defensive in nature. They perform this function, defensive function, in different ways. The first is phagocytosis. Now, what is phagocytosis? It is the engulfing of the foreign particles like solid substances such as bacteria, worn out tissues, etc. by these cells is called phagocytosis. That means the swallowing of the foreign particles like solid substances, the harmful germs like bacteria, the dead cells are being swallowed by the white blood cells, and inside them, once they get entry into the white blood cells, they are being destroyed. This process is called phagocytosis. Mainly neutrophils and monocytes, they engulf pathogens. Pathogens are harmful or disease-causing germs which may enter the body and protect the body against diseases. The part of the body when get infected by the germs, immediately the white blood cells have the property to filter out, to squeeze out through the walls of the blood capillaries, and this process is called as diapedesis at the site of injury. And then that white blood cells will fight with the pathogens. In that process, some of the white blood cells will be killed, some of the pathogens will be destroyed, some of our body cells will be destroyed, and this collection of all these dead parts, they move out or they pass out of the wound in the form of pus, P-U-S, pus. And any abnormal increase in white blood cells count indicates that there is some infection in the body. Then the second way or the second function of white blood cells is formation of antibodies and antitoxins. The lymphocytes are mainly responsible to produce the antibodies. These antibodies will fight with the antigens, those are the foreign bodies, or the pathogens, the disease-causing microorganisms, and protect the body against specific diseases. Acidophils and basophils also produce antitoxins. And what is the function of antitoxin? That is, they are going to neutralize, detoxify any toxin that is being produced by these foreign bodies, by these harmful pathogens. Now, when the disease-causing germs, that is pathogens, they get an entry into the bloodstream, then they produce, these pathogens may produce poisonous substance. These poisonous substances are called toxins, which means poisons. The antibodies in our blood will immediately act as antitoxins in that case to neutralize or detoxify the poisonous effect of the toxins. So in some cases, like the leukocytes, acidophils and basophils, they directly produce the antitoxins to detoxify the toxins. But in other cases, it is the antibodies will try to fight with the germs, with the pathogens, to kill them and protect the body against infection. But if these pathogens produce some toxic substances, poisonous substances, then these antibodies may also act as antitoxins to detoxify, to neutralize the toxic effect produced by the pathogens. Then the third function of leukocytes or white blood cells is immunity. Immunity is the resistance of the body against any disease-causing germs. That is the strength that we have in our body to fight against the disease. That is immunity. And we'll find it is the lymphocytes which are responsible to produce immunity against some specific disease, because lymphocytes are the only white blood cells which produce antibodies. Once you have the antibodies for a particular type of disease, and if that particular disease germs enter into our body, then that particular antibody will destroy those disease germs and our body will be saved, will be protected against the infection. This is how we have the power, we have the strength, we have the resistance in our body due to antibodies to fight against the disease germs. This is what is happening in COVID-19. Most of the people, they cannot overcome this disease because their body is not able to fight against that disease. That virus is not able to produce that antibodies. And those who have overcome this disease, it means their body has got that resistance, the immunity to fight against that virus, and they are cured. So it is very important to have a healthy body. A good health will always have high immunity, high resistance. Then last of all, the function is inflammation. Now actually what is inflammation? That is, we'll find whenever the inflammation occurs due to the reaction of the body cells to injury and localized invasion of germs. That is, when our body cells are injured and that part gets invaded by the germs, then that area gets red in color, becomes hot, swells up and is painful. These are the symptoms of inflammation, which is caused due to the reaction between the injured body cells and the invasion of the germs. Here also the white blood cells, mainly the monocytes and neutrophils, they carry on the process of diapedesis. That is, these white blood cells will squeeze out, will filter out from the blood capillaries to fight against the disease germs that have tried to enter at the injured part. And these white blood cells will kill those germs so that they may not spread inside our body in the blood. So these are the main functions of white blood cells. That is, they carry on the process of phagocytosis, they help in the formation of antibodies and antitoxin, they develop immunity in our body, and they also help to protect our body against inflammation. In one or the other way, all these functions are serving one main purpose of our body. That is, they are acting as a defensive mechanism of our body. They are defending our body, they are protecting our body against the disease germs or any poisonous substances. Now, average human, the lifespan of the white blood cells is hardly 1 week, and neutrophils, they live for only few hours in our body, and it is said that about 125 billion neutrophils are produced each day. The worn out, the injured, or the old, weak or destroyed white blood cells are destroyed in the same way as I have told you in red blood cells. Then we'll come to blood platelets. Its biological term is thrombocytes. These are the smallest sized corpuscles of all the three types. Their number varies from 200,000 to 300,000 per millimeter cube of the blood. Their size is hardly 3 to 4 millimeter in diameter. They do not have nucleus. They are produced in the red bone marrow. The long bones in the hollow cavity of the long bones have a spongy connective tissue called bone marrow. So that connective tissue, they have some giant shaped cells big in size, called megakaryotes. From those giant shaped cells or megakaryotes, small pieces of those fragments get separated. From those giant cells, the small fragments get separated and get surrounded by a membrane. These fragments are nothing else but blood platelets or thrombocytes. So they are produced in the red bone marrow from giant cells called megakaryotes. Their lifespan is hardly 3 to 5 days and are mainly destroyed in the spleen. What is the function of platelets? The blood platelets are mainly responsible for clotting of blood at injuries. Whenever there is an injury in the body, the blood platelets at that injured part gets broken down. It gets disintegrated, broken down, and during that time it produces a chemical substance called thromboplastin or thrombokinase. This thromboplastin, also called thrombokinase, is responsible to start the chain of reactions involved in blood clotting. So all the steps of chain of reactions of blood clotting I will take tomorrow. Thank you, children.